Hey guys, today we're reviewing the Tier 1 American light tank, the T1 Cunningham. For the gun, I use the 37mm Browning semi-automatic gun. It does a ton of damage, and I find it's very fun to use. For ammo, I use a combination of AP and HE shells. I find that the high explosive is very effective against Tier 1s, and there's no need for APCR unless you're fail platooning, which you shouldn't be doing, because the standard AP ammo is good enough for Tier 2 and Tier 3. So, yeah, that's what I use for consumables, and for equipment, I use camouflage net, gun leading drive, and not coated optics, binoculars. Yeah, there you go. The tank has 7 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of gun elevation, but it's got terrible armor. It's got 10mm all round. The thickest part of the armor is 15mm there, the red part on the gun mantlet. But you can't expect much. It is, after all, a Tier 1. And like all Tier 1s, the armor is terrible, so you really shouldn't expect much from the armor. The armor is 6mm on the top of the hull and turret, and I think it's 6mm again for the tracks. So, yeah, don't expect the armor to protect you in any way, because it is literally paper thin. I think it's got the same armor as a Ford Focus, so yes. Let's have a look at a match. This is a Tier 2 match, and I'm the only Tier 1 in the whole match. The enemy has no Tier 1, and worst of all, they have a T-18 tank destroyer. And the T-18, well, how to describe it? It's the most overpowered tank in the low tiers. So, yeah, I'll stand very good chance against the T-18. Yes, you can see I'm reversing on the slope. You might think that I'm a bit thick by when I'm doing this. Well, actually, I'm not. I see when I'm reversing, the engine's at the front, so the enemy can't damage my engine or set me on fire, and there's actually less of me to shoot at from the rear. And you can see I can get away faster instead of just reversing. See, this is a very good tactic for a rear-mounted, rear-turreted light tank, or a very speedy medium tank, because you can simply get away. You can spot the enemy, get away, without the enemy putting a lot of shots into you, which is nice. It works on most rear-turreted tanks, except maybe the VK3000, the VK4502B. Yeah, that probably wouldn't work on a heavy tank, but it would work on most light tanks and medium tanks. It's actually a tactic favoured by French light tank autoloader drivers on a PC version of the game, because currently there are no French tanks in the game, which is annoying. Hopefully they will be adding that in, but back to the game. I'm on 23 health, and I'm very vulnerable. So my team's taking care of that T2 medium. They're all on this flank. So that's why I ran away from the T26, and there's the T18. Damn. Why do I always have to take care of T18s? Right. So I'm in a Tier 1 light tank on very low health against a full health, very overpowered Tier 2 tank destroyer with a gun that would one-shot me even when I'm full health. Let's see how I would fare against that 75mm howitzer. Well, he certainly doesn't seem to be noticing me. He's moved forward, so that suggests that he's facing the other way, and he is. And I'll shoot at the ground, being stupid. But you can see at the rear of the hull, it's got rubbish armor. You see the T-18 is actually based on the chassis of the M3 Stuart. That means the lower hull is all M3 Stuart, which has paper thin armor. Not quite as thin as the T1 Cunningham, but very thin armor. So the T-18 is really quite bad in terms of armor from the lower hull perspective. Well, the upper hull is very good, but the lower hull is terrible. And the last enemy tank is a T2 medium, which I think is AFK. Which turns out to be true when I think that an enemy tank is AFK. Most times. But he is AFK, which is nice. I didn't actually do quite very badly from this. I did quite well, in my opinion. Well, I did okay. It was an average game. Actually, slightly below average. Only got 2 kills. Spoiler alert. But, yeah, I do kill the T2 medium. But that was an okay game. You can see how I used the tank to its advantages. Not really. But you can see how this tank would work. And now we'll use the 37mm semi-automatic gun. And ammo racking other tier 1s is no problem, as you can see. So this is a match, a tier 1 match. And you see I'm loading high explosive. High explosive is amazing. I just used the high explosive against other tier 1s. It's absolutely deadly when you use high explosive. It's just so fun. You pump out about 20 more damage when you're using high explosive shots compared to armor piercing shots. Well, that is, if you penetrate the enemy's armor. If you don't, you only do about 3 damage. So, yeah. Try not to use high explosive too much. If you can't, if you're in a tier 2 or tier 3 match. But you can still use high explosive if you're desperate or can't afford normal ammunition. And this I'm being quite aggressive and stupid here. I'm just sitting here while this LOL tractor is shooting me to pieces. His aim isn't even that good. He's just spraying all over the place. But he is using an autocannon, so can't blame him for that. Trying to hide behind this rock, but I killed the LOL tractor. That leaves me on 43 health. Yeah, you really need to be very careful with this tank. It's got very bad armor. And yeah, you really do have to be careful. Put a few shots into the LOL tractor. Not 2 shots. Yeah. The enemy is capping the base, but we are winning 2-0. See, that only did 3 damage. It didn't penetrate. And this one is escaping. It is getting away. And I don't have the shot on the LOL tractor. And I'll try and stop the cap. So, yes. I only need 1 shot of high explosive to stop the cap. There we go, 12 damage. Didn't even penetrate, but that's okay. We stopped the cap at the base capture. He's not focusing on me right now. He's focusing on someone else on my team. He's on 9 health, but I did take a hit there. which is very annoying because that leaves me on 7 health. And I was preparing to ram him, but it's not a very good idea, to be honest. But I kill him, gently nudging his wreck out of the way. Kill the low tractor. Well, now I kill the low tractor. Reload. Looking at the tank behind me, with his who is otherwise engaged, and I cheekily kill still. It's okay, it's tier 1, everyone does it. I am Team My Magazine because I suspect the last tank on the enemy team is AFK. So, rushing to their base. Our team hasn't been to the enemy base in the whole match, so, I think. So, yeah, MS1's definitely AFK. He's not even turning around, so. And he's got a standard turret, which is actually better when someone's shooting out explosive at you. So that was a pretty good game. 5 kills, most damage on the team. That's fantastic. Got Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, Top Gun, and Defender. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.